It was a crisp autumn evening when Alex decided to test the pulse of humanity. With a beat-up leather wallet in hand, a relic filled with nothing but faded photos and a few crumpled bills, Alex set out into the city. Tonight's experiment was simple. Leave the wallet behind in unsuspecting hands and watch what unfolded. The experiment, he thought, wasn't about money or material worth. It was about the truth hidden in human reactions. Alex's first stop was a bustling downtown sidewalk. He carefully placed the wallet on a worn park bench beneath a flickering street lamp and stepped back into the shadows. Soon enough, a well-dressed man in a tailored suit hurried past, eyes fixed on his phone. When he noticed the wallet, he paused, a look of conflict crossing his face. The man glanced around as if weighing his options, then, with a brief sigh, tucked it under his arm. Alex's pulse quickened. Had he witnessed an act of quiet decency, or was it merely an act of convenience? Next, Alex observed a hurried exchange outside a dimly lit subway station. A scruffy young woman, her eyes darting with urgency, picked up the wallet. Instead of rifling through it immediately, she hesitated, as if caught between the thrill of taking something and the burden of conscience. In that moment, she looked almost fragile, lost in the grey blur of the city's underbelly. But just as suddenly, a gang of rough-looking men approached her. The confrontation that followed was raw and dangerous. Shouts echoed down the graffiti-stained alley, and the wallet was wrested away in the chaos. Alex's heart pounded with adrenaline and a tinge of sorrow. Even in desperation, human nature often succumbed to survival instincts. The final act unfolded in an unlikely place, a quiet, nearly empty bookstore on the edge of the city. A middle-aged librarian, soft-spoken and meticulous, discovered the wallet tucked between dusty volumes on a neglected shelf. She picked it up with care, turning it over in her hands. Instead of rushing to hand it over to Lost and Found or the authorities, she sat down among the stacks. Slowly, she opened it, read the faded photographs, and allowed a tear to slip silently down her cheek. It was as if, for a brief moment, she was connecting with the forgotten dreams of a stranger. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she locked the wallet in a drawer and scribbled a note, "For when you're ready to remember who you are." She then left, the mystery of her compassion lingering in the quiet air. As midnight approached, Alex reviewed the fragments of each encounter. The suited man's guarded morality, the young woman's desperate entanglement with a dangerous world, and the librarian's gentle, reflective empathy. All these threads wove together into a tapestry of human nature, unpredictable, conflicted, and rawly honest. But here was the twist Alex had never anticipated. That very night, as he strolled back home, his own wallet slipped from his pocket without his noticing. It lay on the sidewalk under the same flickering street lamp where his experiment had begun. In an ironic echo of his own setup, a stranger, a mirror image of the suited man, paused to retrieve it. And as Alex watched from afar, a realization dawned upon him. The experiment wasn't a measure of others' moral fiber at all. It was a reflection of his own vulnerabilities. The city, with its gritty corners and unexpected acts, wasn't teaching him a lesson about others. It was revealing the timeless truth that human nature, at its core, is beautifully and tragically self-repeating. In the end, there were no clear heroes or villains, only honest reflections of who we are when faced with life's unpredictable currents.